welcome to Wine Library TV. I am your host, Gary Vaynerchuk, and this, my friends, is the Thunder Show, aka the internet's most passionate wine program, galaxies, worlds, food and wine program. We had a little food, back up, kahuna. Now, listen, I want to talk to you guys about the Northern Rhone. I like the Rhone Valley. I think it represents value. I think it represents quality. And I think it represents an opportunity for more people to explore and taste new things. And I'm really passionate about Saint Joseph, as much as one can be passionate about Saint Joseph. So I'm not zooming right here. Saint Joseph in the Northern Rhone, has an amazing history. It's one of the two biggest regions in the Northern Rhone, along with Crow's Hermitage. It's 100% Syrah-based wines. So the Syrah in Northern Rhone is something that really shines through. It's a varietal that does amazing up there. It got its AOC status declared in 1956, but do not misunderstand the tradition of Saint Joseph, because it goes back to Louis the 12th Mott. We're talking 1498 to 15 to something. We're talking 1498 Mott. It was his favorite wine. He had a vineyard in Saint Joseph, and there was a big heyday during that period of time for this area. But became AOC, kind of got its recognition in the late 50s. It was about a 100-hectare spot until about 1971, where it expanded, and Saint Joseph was now allowed to be grown and classified as Saint Joseph in about a 920-acre parcel, and so it's kind of that size now. So I'm just a very big fan of it. I think the Syrah from this part of the world is very fascinating. I think it's very high quality, and it's very well priced. These two wines are top-notch producers. This one is $31 US. This one is $40 US. Though I noticed K. Murph just made a little note here. This was on Cinderella wine. I should mention. Mott! Link that up, baby. If you don't know what Cindy wine is, you're missing out. Anyway, I should mention it was on Cinderella wine for $28.88. But Syrah-based wines. In 1979, Saint Joseph started allowing white wines to be produced up to 10% white grapes, Marsanne, Roussanne, and so it's just a very, very good area, Mott. I don't know if you've ever had a Saint Joseph. The weather conditions are very, very different than the Southern Rhone. It's very well documented. You can Google this up. And you can Google this up if you like. The weather conditions in the Southern Rhone are very Mediterranean, whereas in the north, it's more of a continental. And so you get a much different Syrah-based Mott. Okay, Murph, I'll take that. We'll drink this later. Need a little sugar, just the way it is. Oh yeah, eat it, Pepsi. I'm a Coke man. Mott, how about you? Coke man. K. Murph. Get on her. No. Oh, fine. Coke or Pepsi for you?
Coke.
Really?
Yeah, all the way.
3-0. Little sub question. Coke or Pepsi me? Very curious. Anyway, so you have a very different style, and that's why, the Syrah is very different in the Northern Rhone than it is in the Southern Rhone. And, about 100,000 cases a year produced, 95% of that red. So, little fun facts, Mott. Starting the shows more with a little fun facts, little tidbits. People want to, act cool at dinner party, because nothing gets the ladies going like knowing details about Saint Joseph. So, let's get into the first wine. The Domaine Corby Saint Joseph Le Wall 2005, 92 points, wine spectator, 31 US bones. Let's give it a little swirl. Beautiful color. Let's give it a sniffy sniff, as we do on this show. And the first thing you'll notice, Mott, check this out, is this is absolutely aromatically explosive. There's no subtlety, Mott. Right?
Nope, even with my stuffy nose.
Even with the stuffy nose, it's going to break through. And it's going to give you that really beautiful red fruit. I get a gorgeous, dark plum. Kind of when a plum's soft, it's really juicy. You bite into it what happens, all the juice in your oh, sorry, honey, it's on my shirt. That kind of thing. A little bit of pepper coming through. Actually, let me rephrase that. A lot of bit of pepper coming through, which I think is fantastic and I appreciate. This is very aromatically interesting, challenging, fun. There's a little sausage coming through on the nose. And it's big, it's powerful. There's a lot of aromatics. You will like this. This smells like wine. It's the real deal. Real deal Holyfield. Evander from Atlanta. I just became a rapper for no reason. All right, let's give it a whirl. Very gamey, very gamey, very big. There's a lot of fruit packed in this wine. Plum, a little bit of grapes. You don't hear me say that often, but it's kind of grapey nerd candy-like to me. Very serious fruit. This wine's got anger on the back end. It's aggressive. That's what I'm looking for. A very aggressive bottle of wine that's structured in a way that really makes you want to drink some more of this wine. It's got a beautiful attack, gorgeous mid-palate. The wine hits you with a lot of fruit, then goes smooth on you, and then finishes quite strong. Maybe like a perfect relationship, Mott, right? Like that initial, like, bam, you got that chemistry, then years of great, solid run, and then, sometimes you see those 80-year-olds get a little freaky, like pinching the butt, it gets a little spiced up down the stretch. That's what's going on. Maybe a good racehorse. Good out the gate, settles in, understands, and boom, on the last furlong, takes it home. Here's my ticket. Give me my money. That kind of thing. I like this wine. This wine is very well made. Very well. It's got big, bold flavors. If you're a Shiraz drinker, you know what I'm thinking about? I'm thinking about all you punk asses that think Molly Duker is such a great wine. And I love Sparky and Sarah Marquis, so I'm not dissing. But it does not have... You love the explosive and big, and it's bold, right? But you got to back it up. And this wine backs it up with a lot of secondary flavors. I get a rosemary component. I almost get like a... little hint of chocolate, a little spiciness. This is good wine. I want to bite it. It's good. 31 bones, 92 spectator, and I'm going to up it. I'm not kidding. I'm going 93 plus points in this wine. I think it is downright phenomenal. Throw a big-ass steak on me. And I'm talking like Flintstones. Tip my car over, and I'll still bring this wine to the dance, and it will stand up and respect that steak and say, I'm wine steak, I'm wine. And it's bringing it. 93 plus points, 31 bones. Bring it. Anybody out there making Syrah in the world, Australia, California, you can't touch this MC Hammer style. That kind of style, because it's that good. I do not know. Oh, Mott is losing it. That might have been a very popular... I have a feeling that might make a highlight reel. Man, I'm excited. That is some serious juice. I like it quite a bit, and I hope a lot of people go out and try it. Good stuff. Great start. We've had several shows, Mott, where I get excited about these little sub-regions. The wines stink, and we go home. Very few have made me want to dance like the Hammer.
You had it down, too.
I appreciate it. Thanks, man. I know it. What, you don't think I did that in 1990? It was huge. Lines in the hair. Francois Villard, one of the great producers of Rhone wines, especially from the north. 2005, Saint Joseph Marlant. It's a single Marlant. This is 92 points. Wine Spectator, $40 US, 100% Syrah. Villard, also an amazing Condru producer, white wines. Love them. Has great color on this wine. Let's sniff it up. Stink juice, Mott. Like black pepper meets a little poop.
Oh, black pepper all day.
Right? Like crazy amounts.
And then the poop
a little bit, right?
Yep.
Just a little, not super bad. It's so super bad. Was that a movie?
Yes.
Yeah, oh man, AJ loved that movie. This can clean up the sinuses. There's also a little bit of pickle juice coming through on this wine as the more I get into it, which I like quite a bit. Little minerality coming through as well. Very different nose than the last wine. Doesn't have that bombastic fruit where I referenced California, Australia. This is very much more old world. Let's give it a whirl. This is going to be an all-time appreciated show. This wine is good, guys. This wine is good. Little sub-question. How many of you have had St. Joseph in your life ever? I have a feeling I know the answer. Not enough of you. Once again, there's a world out there, sub-$40 wines, in a place that nobody talks about. Nobody. And they continue to bring thunder. These two wines collectively is a beautiful back-to-back effort. 2005 is a very good vintage. Probably hitting, not its stride, because these wines really can last for 15 years, but it's probably a good time to drink it. I'm not doing 07s, where there'd be some youthness, there'd be some aggressiveness that needs to kind of calm down. This is really like, you know what this wine's kind of remind me of? The high school jock who was a good dude. Like Rick Chance that went to my high school. Good looking dude, such a jock. He was a good guy. Just a good guy. And that's what these wines act like. They've got everything going for themselves, but they're humble. You know, and they're kind. And they're I don't know, I just feel like they lack ego. You know, kind of like you, Mott. And, you know, I really appreciate that about you, and I really appreciate it about this St. Joseph. This wine is very good. It is more elegant than the last wine. It doesn't have the pizzazz, the big boldness. Nonetheless, it's still very effective. You know, Larry Holmes-like. Wasn't the most bravado, wasn't Ali, and everybody was caught up in the glamour and all that. But, it did its thing. For a decade, Mott. Very underrated prize fighter, and that's how I kind of paint this picture of this wine. You know, it doesn't get all the accolades. Doesn't, this is more my style, right? I get all the hoopla, but you know what? There's plenty of people doing amazing things on the internet and the wine world that are doing this thing and deserve a lot more credit. A lot of great bloggers out there. Maybe they won't eat dirt on the Conan O'Brien show, but that's fine. They're doing their thing, and that's what this wine's doing. I like it. I think it's very elegant. It's more Bordeaux-like, which is, not as much fruit over the top. A little more classic. Really, really elegant. A little hint of bitter tannins on the mid palate, which I think a lot of people appreciate. It's almost a mix of dark black chocolate with pistachio, if you get that style. That nuttiness. Kind of interesting. Really firm tannins. This wine will last a little longer. And that's sometimes what people always say, people like to razz, like this is flash in the pan stuff, this lasts longer. I think these both last longer. They both have great structure, but this has a really dry, firm, like black tea tannins that makes me think it could last for 13 to 14 years. I'm going to score this wine 92 plus points. I think it's spectacular, but if you think I'm going to rate it higher than me, you're out of your mind. Great wines, very excited about these efforts. I'm blown away at this wine for 31 bones. I know this is 40. Could have been had for 28. That's a whole different story. But really, really interesting. I think both wines bring serious thunder. And once again, for an area that's been AOC since 1956, for an area that was the most popular to Louis XII, Mott, to an area that has produced the kind of 100,000 cases a year. And this is a very, very well-known and well-drank part of the world, but I'm telling you, nobody talks about it. There's no buzz. There's no juice. Nobody's razzing and excited. Nobody's lined up like Cabbage Patch Kids or Power Rangers are coming out to get a bottle of St. Joseph. And you know what? I think if more people tasted these wines, that Lady Gaga-like frenzy could be applied to these kind of wines. This is really, really good. Great show. Wines brought serious thunder, and I'm quite happy. Question of the day. This is a good one. If there was ever a time for the lurkers, and I know there's some girlfriends and wives in the background right now, a couple boyfriends too, thank you Lady Vaniacs, that might hear me, please beg your significant other to leave a comment finally. I'm not happy going to the Boston Wine Expo and having 50 people come up and say I'm a lurker. I don't like lurkers. They're like cults. So, big time question. Will show a lot about you. Think it's quite interesting. I'm dying to see this. Who is your favorite extrovert and who's your favorite introvert of all time? Great question. Great. Could be somebody famous. Could be somebody within your family. You. With a little bit of me. Like that thin. Like thin. We are changing the wine world. Whether they like it or not.